Ah, man, he beat that man so bad, man. I'm talking about real bad, bro. Like,
They had a big population of gay guys, and they said they would have these parties. It's kind of like, oh, okay.
yeah.
They said that they shaved the girls' heads so it looks like a dude, so they can have sex with their wives. The dude like robbed them of like 150 Bitcoin and disappeared. And he says, "Oh, I murdered someone." In Pasadena.
You're listening to Criminal Code, our story behind bars.
Welcome to the Criminal Code podcast, where we talk all things prison. My name is Tony, one of your hosts. We have our co-host, Sam, who's back.
What's up?
He's gone for a few episodes, making things happen out in the world. And we have a special guest that flew all the way back here from Louisville, Kentucky.
What's up with it?
What's up, Zoe?
Thanks for coming back in.
Man, appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, so today we're going to have this episode focus on prison beatdowns or fights. We've talked a lot about other things to get you acclimated to prison. A lot of the comments you guys are giving us are great, but now we want to talk about something, I guess, a little more uncomfortable, things that we may have seen in prison. I was at a camp, so I didn't see all-out fights. I've seen maybe a few arguments and stuff like that. I know, Sam, you saw a few.
Yeah, I saw a few, and you know, when you look at movies or TV shows that depict prison, right?
Yeah.
And prior to me going to prison, I'm sure maybe for you guys too, I was like, damn, man, I'm like worried about going to prison. Is there going to be beat downs? People are going to fight. It does happen, you know, a lot of it. And obviously state, I think, happens more than federal. Yeah. Especially we're in the low, right?
Yeah.
So camp, probably less, low, a little more, medium, a lot more, and then max, obviously a lot more.
Yeah.
But my experience is I've seen fights in our camp, and it's in the low, and it's kind of weird because sometimes it can be a real beatdown. Sometimes these are people who are like old dudes that are just like wrestling and grappling on the ground.
Weak ass
like,
weight class.
What the heck is happening? You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I don't know. I've seen some funny ones, but have you personally been in a fight in prison?
I never got in a fight in prison. I got in a whole lot of
With
close
those biceps?
Now, for some reason, I always got a big friend.
Yeah, okay, well.
Like Black. Like, I always had like a friend
I
that
talk
was
a lot
real
of crap.
big.
Black was behind me.
Yeah. I got a real funny story.
Do tell.
So, I had this guy. He was a Samoan. Rest in peace. He passed away. He's actually from out here. So, he was real big. You know, Samoans are like real big. He's about 6'4", big like Black, like cocky like that. So me and him was locked up at this facility, and we got shipped to another facility together. So we had got a real close bond. And I had went to this Class D, which was one of those facilities where you can work outside, but you can come in. And there was a whole lot of crimes going on, like people was bringing marijuana in, and it was just kind of like open. It wasn't like a regular jail. And we used to get these DVDs. It's when DVDs was going on. We used to get DVDs shipped in. And people would sell their DVDs. Like, if you want to see this movie, you got to pay me $2.
Where are they watching it? They have DVD machines?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nah, we actually had TVs with DVDs.
Oh, it was state?
Yeah, it's a state.
Oh, at state you can have TVs in your room.
And we actually had cash money.
Okay.
So this was a low facility. So they used to raid our dorms while we was out to work. And one day I had traded DVDs with this dude. And we didn't exchange no money. I gave him my CD. He gave me his. So the officers came in my dorm while I was at work, and they took the DVDs. And so when I came back in, dude wanted his DVD back. And I'm like, the police got it. He's like, man, you got to get it. And I'm like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get it from the police. So like a day or two, we was going back and forth with him, keep repeating. He was kind of a bigger guy too. So now I'm mad. And this is my first time in prison. I ain't been in no fights or nothing, but I'm like, dude's kind of like bullying me now. He's kind of pressuring me.
Was he big?
Yeah, he was big.
Okay.
Bigger than me for sure. Big black dude at that. So I'm like, I done hyped myself up. The whole morning I'm talking to everybody. I'm like, man, I'm just ready. Get it over with because I can't keep going through it. You know what I'm saying? So when we got off of work, I had went into the kitchen. He worked into the kitchen. And I had ran up on him. And I was like, hey, man, we're not going to keep going through this about this CD, about this DVD. And he was like, oh, no, man, it's cool. Don't even worry about it. So I'm like, the heck? I'm thinking we were fighting. He done like bowed our way down.
You came
so,
at him?
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, don't do that no more. Like,
You're like,
could have went the wrong.
I'm ready, man. Let's go. Let's go. You're hyping yourself up. You're like,
So look,
I'm ready to cut down.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I go back in my dorm, and my dude would always, when he came in, the Samoan, he would always kick the door, and he would call me Zeke. He like, Zeke, what you doing today? I said, man, let me tell you. And so I'm starting to
handled it.
Yeah, so I'm telling him everything I just told you. So he's sitting there with his hands. He like, for real? He said, oh, man, you had him scared to death, didn't you?
I'm proud of you.
And I was like, yeah. He said, man, I did that. I said, what? He said, man, earlier today, I said, bro, you better not never run up on him again. It's me and you. So the whole time I done gained myself up to go fight him, and I'm thinking
You already talked to 20 people
the
saying
whole
how you
time
handled them.
It was my buddy who did it, my enforcer. Yeah, but
That's
other than
funny,
that, I
man.
ain't getting in a lot of fights, man.
How about you?
No,
None?
none.
I mean, I remember you just kept to yourself. So.
Yeah, I rarely. I didn't even see anything too. You know,
And
too
your
crazy.
bunkie was big too.
Yeah, I had a lot of crazy bunkies, but I never saw any.
Cedric?
We were neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
neighbors.
another big dude too.
yeah.
But no,
He was
I'd
cool,
never
though.
seen any. I've seen a lot of arguments being in our dab. You know, a lot of going back and forth and looking like wusses, but no big time fights like you would have seen in say like state.
Yeah.
I know we were briefly talking about you saw a lock in the sock.
Now this was the worst fight I probably seen. This was in the state, cause like you, I didn't see a lot of fights in the federal, cause we was at that low. But
No, real quick though, before you get in it, so you've been federal, you've been state.
I've been state and federal.
Which is worse?
On the violence for me, it was more violence in the state.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, I only went to one facility in the feds, and that was where we was at. So
Okay.
I've been to several different facilities in the state.
No, perfect. Just wanted to let the viewers know we're talking about a big fight in state, but go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so I was in a dorm. It's like a 60-man dorm, and it was a little guy. He kept getting bullied by this bigger guy.
White guy, black guy.
Nah, these are both black people.
Okay.
So one day, like he got fed up, so he started making a lock in the sock. And the lock in the sock is, you know, you get locks to put on your commissary and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the lock and he took the state socks. You know, everything made by the state is not really that good.
Yeah.
Like they can rip, like your toenail might rip it
Right.
or anything. So he done wrapped it up, put the lock in the sock, and he's planning to go to this big dude and swing it on him. You know what I'm saying? Hit him in his eye with it. So
But your aim has to be good.
You better.
You got one
better
chance.
make sure you
got
it's
one
almost like
chance.
David and Goliath. Like it's
You got one
One chance.
Now
It's like David and Goliath.
Yeah. Now remember, it's a 60-man dorm. I'm on my bunk and I'm looking at. I kind of got my book. I'm like, oh man, what's right?
You ain't reading anything,
No,
man.
I'm not reading because I already done see what's
The book's upside down.
Man, this guy goes over to the big dude. He swings at him, and the lock rips out the sock. It doesn't hit him
Like a slingshot?
Oh, shit.
So now the dude's like, "Oh shit, you try to hurt me?" Ah man, he beat that man so bad, man. I'm talking about real bad, bro. Like blood.
Exactly. That's what I said. You got one chance. And if you miss, you're dead. Because you're going for a big dude and you're a small dude.
Yeah, with a lock,
With the lock.
and you really try to hurt him, so
Yeah.
he got even madder. Like it was an ugly
He
scene.
missed.
He missed.
Did he get transferred out by helicopter?
All of them. They all went to
Nah,
nah.
not that bad.
It wasn't that bad. He didn't get hurt. They all went to the hole though.
He didn't try to run.
It wasn't no running.
Anyone help the big guy, or did
See,
they
it's
leave
a
it go
real-
1-on-1?
It's a real little dorm, so it's really not no getting
Yeah,
around.
60 people. It's like
Oh yeah, they're surrounding.
it's like 30
everybody.
bunks. It's
Yeah.
not that big.
Yeah, it ain't that
And they probably aren't letting, like, if a fight like that happens, let's say it's us, right?
Yeah.
And I want to fight you at state or wherever it is.
Yeah.
The other 58 people, do they gather in a circle around so whoever wants to run isn't running and you got to sit there and fight? Or
Nah, a lot of people be minding their business. Some people be egging
like reading upside down books and looking at pictures, pretending
because
you read
like
it?
you don't want to get caught. It's a camera in the dorm. You don't
Yeah.
want to get counted, and then your custody level get raised up. And
Oh, there's
then-
cameras in there?
yeah.
Because in our facility there was not.
Yeah, it was a camera. That's how the COs know. So normally they would fight in restrooms. It's not a camera in the restroom. And I actually seen a fight in the rest. This is one of the funniest fights I've seen too. So this is actually in the same dorm. These dudes that got into it, right? And they right in the middle of the dorm. And say the bathroom's right here, and they right here. And like I said, people don't want to fight on camera, so they meet me in the restroom. So you know, there's no rules in fighting, right? So dude's like,
Oh yeah,
"All
in
right."
prison there's no rules.
Yeah. So dude's like, all right, I'll meet you in the restroom. Soon as the other dude walked like he was going towards the direction, the other dude turned around and hit him. Boom. On camera. And that's when I realized, like,
It don't even matter.
nah. When it's time
It's
to
not
fight,
bro
you just
versus
gotta
bro,
go
man.
in
This
there.
is like survival.
Yeah, it's no
'Cause you
honor
don't
in
know.
there.
No honor.
He didn't care about getting in the fight. He probably had 10 years. He's going to be in a lot of fights.
I mean, I'll share like this. I won't not gonna get into real deep situation, but when I went in to our facility, the first couple of days, I was like in shock. You know, everyone's shocked. You're like, what the heck? And you've been to state and stuff, so you're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is the first time ever.
Yeah, it's a
right?
culture shock.
Culture shock.
Yeah.
I'm an Asian dude from the Los Angeles going into, and I'm not a violent person. And I went in, and I was like, I got to be strong for myself, for my family, my friends. I'm like, okay, just stay focused, keep to yourself. I go in, and remember, I got put into the to the hole, to the shoe,
Yeah, sure.
because I came in drunk. Like I was like taking drinks, and I was like, I can't. And I took like 3 shots, and they said I was drunk, and I was like, I'm not drunk, but they're like breathalyzer. They sent me to the shoe, and I get out. And obviously, you're dressed differently in the shoot. You're like in the jumpsuit. You're not in your khakis.
The green one?
It was a orange one.
Oh.
And then, so they finally take me to the dormitory. I get it all checked in. I'm like, oh my God, there's fucking 300 fucking criminals in here. And I'm thinking, I'm not a criminal. There's fucking 300 criminals here. And I'm like shocked. And then, first day was like, I'm just kind of confused, just keeping to myself. And, you know, there's 4 wings in that place, huge bathrooms. And some people are intimidating. Like, they look intimidating, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like the only Asian dude. There's one other dude out of 300 people in there. So I think it was the second night, and I'm going to the bathroom, taking a shower, and I get fucking pushed up against a dude with like 4 black guys, big guys, and saying like, "What the fuck? Da da da. This is the." I don't know shit. Like I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know when you can take a shower, when you get. I don't know anything. I don't know whose spot is what. And I'm just minding my own business, and they got up on me, and they had a blade, and they were like, I don't know if they're trying to intimidate me or what, trying to take something. I have no idea. I just remember like I got cut. And some other things happened, and I was just like, fuck this shit. I was like, and then from then on, I was like more freaked out because I was like, first time, and I didn't know anybody there. So I was like, shit, I don't know if I'm supposed to report this. Am I not supposed I don't report shit, right?
Nah.
So then that at that moment, and for the listeners who are looking and watching our podcast, and you're thinking like things don't happen or me, everyone's experience is different. My thing happened. And I was like shocked, and I was like, bro, this is pretty fucked up. And I didn't even tell my family. I didn't tell my boys who came to visit during the time. I was just like, you know what? I'll just keep it to myself. And because I didn't want to scare anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want my friends and family to be worried. And hopefully that was the last time. And so I was like, I need to get the fuck out of this place fast.
Yeah, really.
And especially from that dorm, that one, you know, because there's too many people.
Because you was in one of the wildest. That
was
the
a crazy
wildest
one.
dorm.
Like, it was crazy. Luckily, because my first bunkie was leaving that week. And he didn't give a fuck about me. He wasn't telling me what to do or nothing. He was just like, I'm out of here. Yeah. So that happened, and I was like freaking out in my head. I'm trying to keep cool, but I'm like, dude, I need to get the RDAP program. I need to do something. I need to get out of here. Yeah. And but then the next bunkie that came was this Breaking Bad guy from West Virginia. Yeah. So he was kind of like the bigger white dude in the compound, right? And he was like, "Bro, I got you, man." He's like, he goes, "I'm a big," and he's like, I kind of shared a little bit of like who I am, what he is, and and he goes, "Dude, I got you, man." Yeah. So he goes, "If anything happens, let me know, and I'll protect you." Yeah. So I was like, "Okay, that felt good." You know what I'm saying? Right? And so I was trying to keep out of my mindset of like, man, I got fucking harassed in there and kind of like fucked up there. So then I had to do stuff. So I was working out and shit, and then I was playing basketball. Like, so there was like a 40 and over league in basketball. So I was like, fuck, I gotta put my mindset somewhere, put my energy somewhere. So I started playing that. Yeah. And so then people started recognizing me, right? Yeah. Like, because I had a little game, there, especially for a 40-year-old, over 40-year-old, I had a game, right? Nice. So I think that's one way of getting in, and I got established and was made a little bit of who I am. So then my bunkie's like, bro, you got game. I like that. You're out there balling against like black dudes, and you're still like holding your own. And I was hard. Yeah, I was playing hard, and then. So then people he was like, and so I got some respect out of that. But the other time, my other experience where I was right next to a fight was during a basketball game. It was in the finals of the league. I remember it. And it was Thunder. Yeah. So Thunder and another dude. And it was crazy because he was on my team. So I was on the court playing, and we're playing. All of a sudden, I see Thunder just like, boom.
Yeah, it was your teammate.
My teammate, our old teammate too. And I was like, what is going on right now? We're trying to play this game. And it was crazy because, if you get in a fight, you go into the shoe. Yeah. He timed it perfectly where the SEAL was watching the game. All of a sudden, he leaves the gym and bam. Yeah. Boom. He got knocked in he got punched in the head, and he started punching him. I was like, dude, in the middle of the game.
And y'all lost because of that.
We lost because of that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But he got that punching because no one's ratting.
Yeah.
But I was a little nervous. I was like, oh shoot, it's only gonna come here.
Nah, because we couldn't get in no trouble either.
No, we were
like, if you win or lose.
Yeah, so that time the finals is like after I transitioned to RDAP, so I moved dorms.
Yeah.
But
he was already out.
I was out of Bates and went to RDAP. Mm-hmm. Was it Bird? Yeah. Yeah, Bird. Yeah. So it was kind of an interesting thing, and there was a few other times I saw guys in a commissary line, because there's times you can get commissary, right? Yeah. And once a week. Was it once a week? Yeah. Something like that. Monday or something.
Yeah. Everybody's on different days.
Yeah, different. Oh yeah, everyone's on different days. Yeah. And I saw on my line, I was waiting, and it's freaking cold. It was snowing. And we're in line, and all of a sudden I see these two white guys fighting. Yeah. But it was a different fight than the two black guys fighting. Yeah. It wasn't like this. It was like two old white guys, and all of a sudden I see two guys drop to the ground, and they're just grappling. Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck is going on right now? And they're
snow wrestling.
And then all of a sudden I see like one punch, and it's like a long ass fight, and and there's like
one punch,
30 of us in line, and they're still on the ground just grappling and shit. Yeah. And then finally he's like, stop it. And he's like, everyone's just watching, just like, this is funny.
What I just see.
He gets up and kicks him, and then funny thing is they just go back in line. Yeah. Nothing else happened. But it was like a 15 minutes of grappling on the ground. I was like, this is a fucking long ass time. But that was like pretty much my own experience, really close, and that, I was in for 10 and a half, 11. I was like 11 months.
Yeah.
And that was my experience.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I saw like maybe like a few arguments
Yeah.
in the exercise room. It wasn't me. I was just watching it. It was, two. They were both gay.
Yeah.
And I think one took the medicine ball from the other. It was,
I mean, you know what?
it was really bad. I mean, it was like,
it's crazy, man. I did see some guys, dudes, like getting it on. So it wasn't fighting.
No, this is more like you took my medicine ball. This was great, and I was like, okay, well, I think that's the extent of the violence that I'm gonna see, or snow wrestling out in the commissary line, but not straight beatdowns.
Well, Alex, the other dormitory next to Bates. Alex, was it Alex?
Yeah, it was Alex.
They had a big population of gay guys, and they would be in the wing with all the gay guys, and they'd say they would have these parties. It's kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
with the blankets over.
yeah, over the bunk, right? And then, but you can hear, and you're like, oh man, this is not.
And then at night, you got to watch the stalls. Like, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you might have to go to the restroom,
Oh yeah,
you might see 4 sets of feet.
feet.
He's like, what? And
Or in
you
the
got to
shower,
kind of
in the
man your
showers.
business in prison.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't say anything. You can't make
No,
comments.
this-
You gotta avoid eye contact.
Yeah, I seen a lot of that stuff too.
Well, that's true. That's number, and that's our viewers out there. The one thing you can do, always remember, mind your own business.
Yeah.
The moment you're known as that person that gets in people's business, man, it can make your life just
I know mediums.
miserable.
I know mediums, and max is a little different, but we were at low, so we had private shower stalls.
Yeah.
Which I'm 100% thankful for, because
I thought it was
can't-
gonna be like-
me too. I thought it was just gonna be in the. You know why? Because my first experience shower was in the shoe. In the shoe
That's
is
open.
open.
Yeah.
You don't have private stalls. And
Even
so-
toilets too? Is it just all
Toilets inside your shoe. So you're taking a shit, taking a piss inside your
Kind
cell.
of like a county doing.
Your cell.
Like a small county doing.
Luckily, I was by myself. I didn't have someone else in my cell, and you get 1 hour of sunlight if you choose to.
Damn.
And you go to the bathroom. I think you take a shower once every 3 days
Yeah.
or 2 days. I don't know, but it wasn't every day. But I was like, man, I gotta take a shit. It's like right there. It's like in the same room.
Yeah.
When I went to take a shower, I was the only one in the shoe, so I was the only one taking a shower. But my expectation going into the regular dorm was like, dang, I gotta take a shower with all these people. And you don't know, like they always say, like, don't bend over. You know what I mean?
Don't drop the soap.
Don't drop the soap. So I was nervous, but I was really thankful that it was individual stalls.
Yeah.
You know,
See, I've been in facilities where I had to take showers with
Together.
other men.
Oh, no shit.
Like, actually, when I first came in state, they have this. It's called the Rotary Form. I think I talked about it on the other episode. But what they're doing is getting you classified to go to different facilities, and it's all mixed from low to maximum people. So when as soon as you get in there, like you said, the culture shock, and this is my first time in penitentiary, you got to strip your butthole naked, like, and bend over and cough, and then get in a line with 3 grown men and get
All
sprayed by
naked?
light. Yeah, get sprayed with light spray.
wait, I thought we did that when we went in. Didn't you have to strip?
I had to strip. I never got sprayed with the.
No, I don't think they did
like,
light spray.
Like
no.
like Shawshank,
Yeah.
where they throw it on the white
Nah,
powder.
They sprayed us with a spray bottle, all of us, made us turn around, and then they put the scalding hot water in.
Yeah.
And then they go. Now, before that, they cut your hair off. So
Oh,
they don't do it in
damn.
the fit.
They cut your hair,
Yeah. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
so everyone is bald.
Everybody's bald. And the only thing you can leave, the option is you want a mustache.
What?
I
Did
look
you
like,
have- did
I
you
look like
keep
a
your
Mexican
mustache?
mustache.
You was probably looking like
Man, if you see my picture, it looks so bad. I'm talking about it's horrible, man. But I couldn't cut my stash. I kept my mustache. I said,
Nah, I'll keep my stash.
that's the only
dog.
piece of masculinity. Yeah. Nah, it was rough. And when you taking shower with other men, you just gotta mind your business, man.
Yeah, but you don't know, because some people have been down a long time.
Yeah,
So if you're down and the only physical thing you see are dudes,
yeah.
you know, that's why a lot of times it happens, right?
No, really.
And it's, I don't know. And some dudes like look more feminine than other dudes. So
Yeah,
you're
they
like,
do.
Is it the prison boyfriend or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
well, you know, the Greeks, that's how they were.
Yeah.
We went to Greece this year, and what I learned is in the Greek army, I think this is like back in the day.
A lot of them were.
Was it Greek or Spartans? I don't know.
Both. I think it was
Is it
almost both, but it was like they were a lot of their soldiers, and the boys.
And they had
trained.
trainers and their mentors. Their mentors were the ones. So if you're like, let's say you're 16 and you're learning how to fight and you're trying to be the soldier, then you have a mentor who's older, and these guys would like train them. But part of the training, because you get so intimate with each other, is like you have sex with each other, and so you are both lovers and protectors. So that's like if you're in war, that loyalty, like they're gonna protect you.
Yeah.
But what happened was after they get done, and that's why the whole sodomization came back. That was like popular in Greek.
Yeah.
And what happens is after the military or after the whole war is over, when they go back to their families and their wives, they said that they shaved the girls' heads, because that triggered when you said shave the head.
Yeah.
They shaved the female's head so it looks like a dude, so they can and they can basically have intimacy, so they can have sex with their wives or their girlfriends, and thinking it's their lover.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's rough right there.
That's what I learned, and I was like, but in prison that can happen too, because you're spending all this time with guys, and if and usually guys have high like sex drives, and at a certain point, like, are you jacking off? Are you like pleasing yourself? But if you're especially in a prison where you have open showers, you can't even do that, right?
Yeah.
And so then it's like, hey, fucking come here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then not even that, a lot of people have their body done, like men who are women.
Yeah.
They're not going to women facilities. They still coming to the male facilities.
Right.
So,
well, and they don't have condoms. It's not like a commissary. You go by and buy condoms.
Yeah,
so people have diseases in prison.
That's how it gets spread.
That's it gets spreads.
Comes back to the community.
I know.
Oof.
Because a lot of people, they go back to their wives. Like on visit, we see them, but we seen what you do behind, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a different world with that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just glad we never were exposed to it.
Yeah.
At least at the camp or the low where we were at, man.
I seen my fair share, but I ain't see like where it was wild, where people was getting raped. I ain't seen nothing like that. But I seen a lot of like activities though.
And it's crazy too, because that was my number one, before I knew anything. Yeah. Actually, before I even got to Morgantown, that was my number one fear.
Yeah.
Forget no freedom or whatever. It was like, am I going to get a fight? Am I going to get into fights every day?
Yeah.
Am I going to get, sexually abused or rape every day? What's going to happen? That was my fear.
Yeah.
The first probably week.
Because you never know.
No, man.
Like when I came in, I mean, I'm from the hood, but I was still nervous. Like I've never been to prison. I'm around all these grown men. Everybody's strong. Everybody's working out. Like you said, people was intimidating when they come in there. And one thing I noticed about prison, you got to observe everything before you do anything. Yep. Like in the county, they have a toilet. You pee in one toilet, and you do the number 2 in the other toilet.
Oh, see, I wouldn't.
Now, if you do the wrong thing, you can get in the fight. Like
they'll throw you.
Somebody
They'll
get in
throw
the fight
you in the
that.
toilet.
You know what I'm saying? Like people going to use the restroom on the they peeing on the toilet you're supposed to do the number 2 on, and people get real offended. I've seen somebody get beat up fast.
Yeah, because the only thing that these people have who've been down for a long time is order. And order is that only those things. Like, this is my spot. This is where you take a shit. This is where you take a piss. Like, and if it's out of their, like, what they're used to, and someone messes their world up, then they get mad because there's nothing else to be doing in life. What do? Talk to each other, play cards, read, take a piss, take a shit. Yeah. Well, now you violated my place where I take a shit, and you just piss all over my seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
go down.
Yeah. And that kind of messed me up, like, psychologically. When I got out, I had to, like, tone myself down. because like stuff that bothers me in there, you know, everything's about respect in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was at dinner with my family and one of my family members reached over my plate and I had to catch myself because you know in
Triggers.
there you can't reach
Yeah.
over nobody's plate and I'm sitting there like, and they like, what's wrong with you? And
shit,
I
at
don't
home,
want to tell
you're
them
reaching
like,
over all day.
I'm
Yeah.
institutionalized.
No,
a
I
little
remember
bit.
that too, man. Because you always feel like you have to watch your back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
When you sleep too.
yeah, especially when you sleep.
Yeah. I felt that I slept okay, but most of the time I didn't have full sleep because, you know, like we in the low we don't have cell
Cell
doors.
Right.
So at nighttime, anytime anyone can come to where you're sleeping and stab you
Yeah,
or do something to or suffocate you.
correct.
So it's not just your bunkie, not your cell. You know what I mean? So I never felt comfortable, especially at Bates.
Yeah.
Like I was like, dude, there's all these fucking crazies here. I have no idea what they're gonna do or what. I don't. Like you were scared. You're from the hood. You were scared, and you're black. Imagine me, man, a white collar Asian dude from California. I'm like, dude, I know what to do.
I was poker face as
But-
hell, but I was scared, man.
Yeah,
I never
the
bought a bunk for me.
the whole time I was at Bates, and especially what happened in the first few days with me in the bathroom, I couldn't sleep well because I was always watching my back.
Yeah,
So even afterwards, even after out of prison, I think Halfway House felt more worse because Halfway House is a mix of low to max people who got out.
but then you
And-
out here in California,
but
so
still, but
you
they're
with gang members. And
that's
all
what I'm
type of
saying.
stuff,
And actually, one of my bunkie, this guy in my room
yeah,
from the Halfway House, he actually ended up robbing a bank, shooting while he was in the Halfway House. So one day he didn't show up,
yeah,
and I was like, "What happened?" And people are like, "Oh, you didn't hear? He disappeared."
yeah.
And then a few weeks later, they're like, "Oh, they caught him because he was robbing a bank with guns," and he had like I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks left to get out of the Halfway House.
And this is your bunkie.
He was in my bunk, and
That's
he
who
just
really-
never showed up one day, and that's why I was like, "This is crazy."
You're like, these are the people that I'm around.
Yeah, you never know.
The
who
Halfway
you
House
with.
is crazier.
It is.
I almost, if I had to redo it again, I think I would just stay where I was.
That's what we're-
because
we're
you're
saying too.
familiar
Yeah.
instead of going to the Halfway House. The other thing, which is crazy, and I don't know if I can share this,
Oh, yeah.
but long story short, I won't go into details. Another guy in the Halfway House ends up working for my friend. So I introduced him to him. He's a good guy, whatever. He needs a job to get out of the Halfway House, so go work for him.
Yeah.
He ends up working for him for a few months during the Halfway House. He's in good standings and all this stuff. All of a sudden, he disappears. And my friend, I was like, "What happened?" And he says, the dude like robbed him of like 150 bitcoins and disappeared. And when he was asking for some, because he was trying to, he said he can build something, and he was in for like programming shit. And so he was like, I can do this thing and make you exponential money on bitcoins.
Yeah.
Okay, try it. Tried it with this. And he showed us things. It looked like, okay, it sounds good. So then we gave him like 150 bitcoins between all these different people to invest. Because like, oh, we can be billionaires. Right?
Yeah.
Fucking- and all of a sudden, they're asking for some money back to see how real it is. And he just kept making excuses. And all of a sudden, after like 2-3 weeks of excuses, he didn't show up to work, they said. And at that point, the probation officer, I guess, called and was like, "Hey, do you know if so-and-so is there?" No, he didn't show up to work.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because he hasn't reported to me either. So he ended up not having, he ended up being on the run.
Yeah, you scanned it.
So everyone's like, forgot about him. But then like 4 to 6 months later, we see the news. And this dude literally murdered someone with a
Some old
hammer because the story is like he ended up living in this guy's house with his friend, which is a girl. and the girl, his friend, was her stepdad's house, but so they were living rent free. Stepdad wanted to sell the house, and they had no place to go. So instead of moving out, they basically hammered him on the head, killed him, and then drove his body to Joshua Tree and was burning his body.
Man, what?
Dude, this is on the news. You can see it.
real.
It's
Sound
fucking
like
crazy.
a movie almost. Like,
Dude, it's crazy. And so I was shocked because I was the one who introduced him to this group of guys who they were working for. Number one, he ends up stealing the Bitcoins. Number two, he ends up murdering someone. So I was like, dang, dude, he could have murdered any of us because in that situation.
you just trying to help people.
I'm just trying to help.
don't
You know
even
my personality.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the best in everyone, and this guy was this, and so I was like, oh, let me help you. You got this talent, you can do this.
Yeah.
And so in the news, he murders, and he got caught in Joshua Tree burning the body, and so they got arrested. And I think now he's been in the county.
He's gonna be there for a while.
He's been in county for a long time, but I don't know what happened. But it's just you run into some wacky people.
He seemed like a normal.
He was a white dude, and he was a little bit like, but he seemed normal, not like a murderer.
I mean, I should have known something was wrong the first
But
time I
you know
saw
what's
him get up from
crazy?
his wheelchair and start walking.
No, what's crazy? What gave it up was one of the time that I had a conversation with him. He said, we're talking about like politics and fucking prison and shit, right?
Yeah.
And how crazy this shit is. He says, oh, I murdered someone in Pasadena, right? And I was like, shut up. He goes, no, I did. And
He said it like it wasn't nothing.
like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And then he said, and then I reported it to the police, and they didn't want to acknowledge that I'd killed somebody
What?
because he was transient. He was like homeless.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, what's crazy, you can just murder people and get away with it. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I murdered someone. I told the police that I murdered someone. And he was like, they didn't say anything. And they just count me as a crazy lunatic and a homeless dude. And then he got away with it.
Damn.
So I looked it up, and he fucking was telling the truth too. So I saw a report saying someone was murdered, and they said it was murdered by a homeless person.
Oh man.
And then you know, months later, after he disappeared from everyone that I knew that I introduced, and he ends up murdering his friend's stepdad because they didn't want to move. I mean, I don't know. That's why, listeners, if you guys are coming out of prison, or you went to prison, or you're trying to experience halfway out, just be careful of who you deal with.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Right?
A lot of people are really criminals. That's why they ain't.
Yeah.
Man.
Now you got some people who made a mistake. You know, they trying to switch.
They didn't
their
pay
life,
taxes, or they didn't pay.
But a lot of people are really criminals. Like,
Crazy. Anything else? Any other stories you want to share?
on the fighting, that's probably about it on the fighting that I seen.
Well, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, too, we're talking about prison beatdowns and all the craziness. I guess the moral of the story and the things we want to impress upon the viewers is, you know, look first, see what level you're going to. I think it would be safe to say the lower the security level, the better chance
Survival
of you're not going to be exposed to certain things. None of us here were at mediums or max or anything like that, so we can't attest to it, but we all have friends that have been at that level, that have experienced stuff like that. So look at the level, but then at the same time too, I think another safe thing for our viewers, is to mind your own business.
Mind your own business and manners.
And the moment
Manners is very big in their respect.
Because one time, you know, you make one mistake, it could make your stay, no matter how long it's going to be, you know, pretty bad.
Because everybody don't come home from prison. Like, people get killed in there.
No, and you don't know. Look at some of the people we were just saying who we were around. People we hung out with, talked to, they come out, they murder people, and they do all this crazy stuff. So that's what you want to do. Mind your own business and try to make your stay as easy as possible. But, you know, Zoe, man, we do appreciate you flying back
Man, appreciate
out
man.
here.
especially on short notice.
Hey, most important. Well, that shows how important it is to you to be able to be here, so that our viewers get more information on their stay. So thank you again, all the viewers out there watching Criminal Code. Keep those comments coming down below, and remember, when you're watching Criminal Code, if you ain't indicted,
You're not invited, baby.
you're not invited. Thank you guys. Have a great day.